Alright guys, let's rewind to the early 80s, when Honda was in the middle of an identity crisis. See, Honda had always been the four-stroke company. That was their pride, their soul, their unshakable philosophy. But racing? Racing doesn't care about philosophy. It cares about winning. And in Grand Prix racing, the kings were all riding two strokes. Honda came back to GP racing in 1979 with their exotic NR500. A four-stroke V4 loaded with radical oval pistons and space-age engineering. On paper, it was a masterpiece. On the track, a total disaster. Too heavy, too complicated, too fragile. For 3 straight seasons, Honda got embarrassed by Yamaha, Suzuki, and even Kawasaki. Their fancy NR500 couldn't touch the raw, lightweight two strokes dominating the 500 cubic centimeters class. By the end of the 1981 season, whispers started spreading. Honda might actually build a two-stroke. Crazy, right? But it was true. Secretly, Honda launched 2 parallel projects. One to keep the NR500 alive, and one to develop a brand new two-stroke race bike. It was the ultimate, if you can't beat them, join them, moment. This is where Shinichi Miyakoshi steps in, a former engineer from Honda's motocross division. Miyakoshi was chosen to lead the two-stroke project. Instead of chasing insane RPMs and exotic complexity like Honda usually did, Miyakoshi took a different approach. He traveled to the Dutch GP, studied the competition up close, and realized something simple but powerful. Raw horsepower didn't win races. What really mattered was balance. Lightweight handling, smooth power delivery, and tires that could last the distance. And from that vision came the NS500, a compact, 3-cylinder two-stroke with clever design choices. Unlike Yamaha and Suzuki's heavier fours, Honda used a single crankshaft to save weight, magnesium cases borrowed from the NR500, and motocross-inspired reed valves for better low-end torque. Expansion chambers were tuned to make the power curve smoother, not just brutal. The philosophy was clear: build a bike that riders could actually control lap after lap, not just a missile that burned its tires off. But Honda didn't just stop at the bike. They reorganized their entire racing operation, creating Honda Racing Corporation, HRC. New structure, new leadership, and a new attitude. They signed big names like Marco Lucanelli, the reigning GP 500 champion from Suzuki, alongside rising stars Freddie Spencer and Takazumi Katayama. In its very first season in 1982, the NS500 shocked everyone. Spencer grabbed podiums, Katayama scored wins, and suddenly Honda wasn't a joke anymore. They were contenders. The NS500 wasn't the fastest on the straights, but in the corners, it danced. It was light, nimble, and forgiving. Exactly what the old NR500 could never be. Then came 1983. Freddie Spencer went head-to-head against Kenny Roberts in one of the most legendary title fights in GP history. Race after race, Spencer and Roberts traded wins. It all came down to the San Marino GP. Roberts won the battle, but Spencer's second place was enough to win the war. He clinched the World Championship, making him the youngest 500 cubic centimeters champion ever at the time. And Honda, they finally had their crown. Both riders' and constructors' titles. Think about that for a second. Honda, the company that swore by 4 strokes, only became world champions by embracing the very technology they once dismissed, 2 strokes. The NS500 wasn't just a bike. It was Honda swallowing its pride and proving they could adapt, compete, and win. Of course, the NS500's reign was short-lived. By 1984, Michelin radial tires and the arrival of Honda's even more advanced V4 NSR 500 pushed it aside. But the impact of the NS500 can't be overstated. It turned Honda from an underdog with a broken philosophy into a powerhouse with a new identity. The NS500 was Honda's turning point. A bike born from failure, rebuilt on humility, and fueled by the hunger to win. It may not have lasted long, but it rewrote Honda's racing story forever.